Welcome back to Laughing Through Life with Donald, the show where one Marine, one wife, three kids, three dogs, and one mission. Keep laughing. Even when the world is throwing chaos like it's part of your daily PT. I'm your host, Corporal Raglan, because once a Marine, always a Marine. And today we're diving into kids think adults know everything. Let's get into it. Let's set the scene. At 800 yesterday morning, coffee in my hand, Spirit not fully downloaded yet, still buffering like a busted government laptop. The house is already moving. The dogs are doing perimeter checks like they just got intel there's a squirrel outside. My son, the youngest, is marching around like he's the commander of the kitchen. My middle child is doing cartwheels for absolutely no reason. And my oldest is staring at her phone like it contains the secrets of the universe. It's loud, it's chaotic, it's my normal. And I'm sitting there in my Marine issue flat expression, trying to figure out why my coffee tastes like it's judging me. Then my son walks right up to me, not timid, not shy, not hesitant, but with the confidence of a Marine who studied for the wrong test but doesn't know it yet. Dad, he says, why is the sun hot? Just like that. No warm up, no lead in, just a tactical nuke of a question before my brain has even started its morning brief. You ever have a kid ask you something so significantly deep that your soul pauses? That was me. Coffee halfway to my mouth, eyes focused on nothing, body present, brain absent. I swear I heard Windows XP startup noises in my head, and he's standing there waiting because he believes I know things. He thinks I'm the source of knowledge. He thinks adults have answers. He doesn't know the truth. Adults just have bills. So I blink twice, like a malfunctioning robot. I take a slow sip of coffee, not for hydration, but for hope. And I say the first thing that pops into my undercaffeinated mind, because it's supposed to be. My son squints. My 10-year-old pauses mid-cartwheel, like I just interrupted mission brief. My 12-year-old looks up from her phone like, that's it? That's the best you got? I could see it in their faces. I had failed the test. And this wasn't even a real test. This was a pop quiz from the universe. And the universe said, incorrect. Try again. And that's when it hit me. My kids genuinely think I know everything. They think adults operate with full manuals, instructions, SOPs, and emergency backup plans. They think adults wake up like, all right, team, here's the itinerary for today. Structured, refined, optimized. Meanwhile, I wake up like, where are my socks and why is the dog chewing a shoe that doesn't belong to anyone in this house? And that's when my brain takes a little field trip to childhood. Because when we were kids, adults acted like they knew everything. Every grown up talked like they were the commanding officer of life. They said things with confidence, even when the things made no sense. Like, if you swallow gum, it stays in your stomach for 7 years. Don't turn on the car light or the police will arrest us. If you cross your eyes too long, they'll get stuck. If you swallow a watermelon seed, a watermelon will grow inside you. Why were adults so committed to lying? And why did we believe them? But here's the plot twist. We're doing it now. We are the adults, and we still don't know anything. I'm standing in my kitchen trying to explain the sun while also trying to remember if I had switched to laundry or just thought about switching to laundry. My 9-year-old is looking at me like I have a PhD in astrophysics. My 10-year-old is expecting a talk. My 12-year-old is preparing to fact check me on her phone the moment I finish talking. And I am just trying to exist But I realized something else in that moment, something important. Kids don't actually care if we know the answers. They care that we're there. They care that we try. They care that we're willing to look them in the eye and attempt to explain the sun with whatever leftover brain power we have at 8 a.m. So I looked at my son and I did the most honest thing I could do. I said, let's look it up together. And instead of giving him a wrong answer and an old lie or a half baked theory, we sat down at the table, me, the Marine dad, with coffee still not fully functioning, and we learned it together. He smiled, he asked more questions, my daughters pulled up chairs, and suddenly my chaotic breakfast turned into a family science brief. The dogs even sat down like they wanted to participate. Moments like that remind me why this chaos matters, why the noise matters, why being a dad matters. Even when you don't know the answer, even when you're exhausted, even when your kids think you know everything and you absolutely do not. Because the truth is simple. Kids don't need perfect parents. They need present parents. And sometimes being present means saying, I don't know, but let's find out. Speaking of not knowing things, adults pretend to have more answers than Google itself, which brings us into where adults fake confidence like it's a full-time job. Let's dive into the truth about adults. We don't know everything, not even close, but somehow kids think we do. And somehow society expects us to act like we do. When I became a dad, nobody handed me a manual. Nobody said congratulations. Here's the playbook for managing chaos while keeping everyone alive and still maintaining your dignity. Nope. I got 3 kids, 3 dogs, and a wife who's married to a Marine, which, by the way, is like assigning a drill instructor to a PTA meeting. Kids will stare at you with the intensity of a sniper on target. They don't know you're making things up as you go. They just assume dad knows because that's what we taught them. Adults always seemed like they had it together. They had answers. They had authority. They had grown up magic. Spoiler alert, that magic doesn't exist. Let me give you a classic example from my own life. My 12-year-old daughter came to me last week asking a simple question. Dad, how do clouds hold water? And I, a trained Marine with a corporal rank, stared at her like she had just handed me a live grenade with no pin. I said, they said, floated? It's science or magic. One of those. She rolled her eyes and walked away. Meanwhile, my wife is standing behind me shaking her head. Like, you survived the Marine Corps, but this, not so much. See, the thing is, adults spend their whole lives pretending we know things. It's a survival mechanism. We have to bluff sometimes. Sometimes it's for our kids. Sometimes it's for coworkers. Sometimes it's just so no one realizes we don't know what we're doing. I mean, think about it. How many of you Googled answers while standing right in front of someone, nodding confidently as if we've known it since birth? I do it every day. I do it in the kitchen with my kids. I do it in meetings. I do it when my wife asks me a question about bills or schedules. And you know what? It works. Kids don't know, adults don't know, life keeps rolling. Being a Marine helps, though, in some ways, you learn to improvise. You learn to maintain composure under pressure. You learn to take chaos and somehow turn it into function, or at least look like function. For instance, the other day, I was trying to teach my 10-year-old daughter how to fold laundry. She looked at me like I was leading a tactical assault on Mount Everest. Meanwhile, I'm giving her step-by-step instruction like a drill instructor. Step 1, fold the corner. Step 2, align the seams. Step 3, don't mess it up. You hear me? Halfway through, I realized I was wrong, completely wrong. But I didn't admit it. I kept marching through with confidence, pretending it was all standard procedure. That's adulting. That's parenting. Bluffing with courage. Winging it like a Marine in civilian life. And kids, they don't see the uncertainty. They see authority. They see someone who looks like they know what they're doing. That's enough. So why do we do it? Why do adults fake knowledge instead of just saying, I don't know? Because admitting we don't know can feel like failure. And society pressures us to appear competent always, even when we're not. And here's the kicker. The older you get, the more you realize everyone else is just as clueless. Adults are all just improvising. We're all just winging it with different levels of confidence. And somehow, some way, we make it look like we know what we're doing. So when my kids ask me questions about science, life, or why the sky is blue, I have a choice. I can lie, I can bluff, or I can use it as a teaching moment for them and for me. Because here's the beauty of parenting. Even when we're pretending, we're modeling courage. We're showing our kids it's okay to not know something, as long as you're willing to figure it out. That's why in my house, we laugh a lot, we joke a lot, we embrace the chaos. Even when the three dogs are barking, the laundry is everywhere, and I just spilled coffee on my shirt for the third time today. Being an adult doesn't mean having all the answers. It means facing questions with confidence. It means being present. It means showing up every day, even when you're not sure you can. And that's why I love being a Marine dad. Because the discipline, the training, the improvisation skills, they all come in handy when life throws you questions you can't answer. Like, why is the sun hot? Like, how does photosynthesis work? Like, why does my 9-year-old insist that every meal must be eaten rainbow order? Kids expect answers, adults fake answers. Life moves forward. And somehow it works. Now that we've established that adults are basically improvisers in life, let's get into the childhood lies we all believe and are now accidentally passing down to our kids, the ones we believe with unquestioning faith of a platoon following orders. And now, the ones we're accidentally telling our kids. When we were little, adults had this incredible superpower. They could say anything with complete confidence, and we believed it. No questions asked, no evidence needed. If you swallow a watermelon seed, it'll grow in your stomach. Really? That's what we were told. And some of us, full disclosure, still think about that seed sometimes, lying in our stomachs like little horticulture ninjas. Don't cross your eyes. They'll get stuck like that. Thanks, Mom. Now I know why I have trust issues. Turn on the car light at night and you'll go to jail. Apparently, the highway patrol is just waiting for a little dome light to flick on so they can throw you in the brig. Makes perfect sense to a 7-year-old. The worst lie of all was adults know everything. We grew up thinking adults had secret manuals, cheat codes, and a lifetime subscription to knowledge. And that myth followed me into fatherhood. I remember the other day, my 12-year-old daughter asked me about the phases of the moon. And I said, oh, it's because the moon is rotating and stuff. My 9-year-old's face all staring at me like I was a corporal failing inspection in front of a general. Then she said, Dad, that's not an answer. And I realized I had become the adult I swore I would never be. The adult who confidently lies because they feel like they're supposed to know everything. And here's the kicker. Now I'm telling my kids similar lies out of habit because that's all we know sometimes. Like the time my son asked if eating candy before dinner would make him stronger. I said, yes, absolutely. It's the secret Marine Power Up program. The kids cheered. My wife gave me that look. You survived the Marine Corps. Now you're lying to your own children about sugar. And yet, there's something magical about these little lies. They spark imagination. They spark curiosity. They make kids ask more questions. Think about it. We didn't just believe everything adults said, we questioned it. We tested it. We pushed back. And we learned in the process. Now, as adults, we get to pass that cycle forward, intentionally or not. My daughters now ask questions like tiny investigators. My son is like a 9-year-old drill instructor interrogating every statement I make. And my 3 dogs, well, they bark at everything. But that's a story for another day. Sometimes I stop and think, am I perpetrating the cycle of lies I swore I'd never tell? Yes, absolutely. But it's all part of the chaos of parenting because the real lesson isn't the answers we give, it's in the process. It's in sitting down with your kids and exploring the unknown. It's in saying, I don't know, let's find out together. And that, my friends, is a bigger gift than any perfect answer ever could be. All right. So we've covered how adults bluff and how childhood lies persist. Now let's dive into the marine life side of things, navigating civilian dad life while maintaining discipline, order, and sanity. Let's talk about the real challenge of parenting as a Marine. Because here's the truth. The Marine Corps prepares you for some things, but it does not prepare you for the chaos of civilian family life. You learn how to march in formation, how to survive in extreme conditions, how to follow orders to the letter, how to survive 48 hours with zero sleep and 3 meals that are technically still alive. The kids, 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, the youngest at 9, the daughter's 12 and 10, they don't follow any formation. They have no strategy. They do not respect your chain of command. And the dogs, oh, the dogs, 3 of them, each thinking they are sergeant majors of the household. Every morning, I wake up like I'm preparing for a full-scale inspection, only to realize my tactical advantage is gone because someone pooped on the carpet again. And here's the real kicker. Civilian life is full of ambushes. You can plan a family breakfast down to the last pancake. You can have a mission timeline ready for school drop-offs. You can brief the kids on expected behavior, consequences, and operational security. And still, your 9-year-old finds a loophole in your plan to consume the last glass of chocolate milk. I remember one particular morning, it was textbook Marine operation gone wrong. I had my coffee, I had my checklist, I was ready to execute the breakfast flawlessly. Then, the 12-year-old daughter decides she wants pancakes, only chocolate chip pancakes, and only if they are cut into triangles. The 10-year-old daughter says, I want pancakes too, but only circles and only with syrup drizzled like an abstract painting. The 9-year-old boy steals the syrup bottle and starts a covert operation in the living room. Meanwhile, my wife, ever the seasoned CEO of the house, looks at me and says, Donald, handle it. Handle it? Sir, ma'am, do you know what handle it means in civilian chaos? It means improvising under fire. It means making decisions with no guidance. It means using all of your Marine skills to negotiate peace treaties between 3 tiny dictators. And somehow, surviving with your coffee intact I tried. I really did. I gave orders, set boundaries, attempted tactical negotiations, and you know what happened? The breakfast was a mess. Syrup everywhere, dog footprints on the floor, but laughter, chaos, and an operational success and morale. That's the thing about being a Marine parent. You can't control everything. You can't always win, but you can show up. You can improvise. You can lead with humor, patience, and the occasional fake authority. And yes, sometimes the authority is bluffing. Sometimes the Marine tactics you used in boot camp translate into teaching a 10-year-old how to fold laundry or convincing a 9-year-old to eat broccoli. Sometimes it fails spectacularly. Sometimes it works just enough to keep everyone alive. But there's beauty in it because life as a Marine dad teaches you lessons you never learned in the Corps. Patience under chaos, flexibility when plans fall apart, creativity when improvisation is required, and most importantly, laughter. When things get ridiculous, let's be real. The life lessons we teach our kids aren't in manuals. They're in the little things, making pancakes into triangles, syrup on the floor, dog chasing a toy, 3 kids yelling at the same time. That's where discipline meets humanity. That's where Marine training meets unconditional love. That's where we as adults realize that control is a myth, but love, presence, and laughter are real. And now that we've survived the chaos of Marine dad life, let's wrap up by reflecting on the bigger picture. Adults are just kids with bigger shoes, still figuring it out, still laughing through life. So here's the truth I want to leave you with. Adults aren't all knowing. Adults don't have it all together. We just have bigger shoes. And bigger shoes, I mean more responsibilities, more chaos, and slightly more caffeine. We walk around giving orders. We pretend to know the answers. We Google things quietly while nodding confidently in front of our kids. We do our best to appear confident because someone has to. But underneath it all, adults are just kids who got older. I see it in my own life every day. I have 3 kids, 2 daughters, 1 son. Been married for 12 years. I have 3 dogs. I've been a Marine. I've had a corporal rank. I've done things I'm proud of. But when my 9-year-old asks me, Dad, why is the sky blue? I feel like a recruit again. And that's okay, because it's in these moments, the questions, the chaos, the unknown, that we find the beauty of being human. Adults pretending to know everything teaches kids courage. Kids thinking adults know everything teaches us humility. It's a mutual exchange, and laughter is the currency. I remember the first time my youngest tried to cook with me in the kitchen. We ended up with flour everywhere, eggs on the floor, and 2 dogs covered in batter. It was chaos, but we laughed. And in that laughter, I realized being an adult isn't about control. It's about showing up. It's about trying. The Marine training comes in handy here too. You learn how to improvise. You learn how to stay calm under pressure. You learn how to lead by example, even when you don't know the answers. And parenting teaches you that sometimes just showing up is the most heroic thing you can do. We tell our kids lies sometimes about germs, about watermelon seeds, about the light in the car. We bluff sometimes about science, about life, about things we don't fully understand. We do it because we love them and because life is messy and humans are improvisers. And here's the beauty: kids learn resilience from us, they learn curiosity from us, They learn humor from us, even if we're winging it, especially if we're winging it. So when I look at my family, my three kids, my wife, my three dogs, I see the bigger picture. I see the small daily victories, the breakfast that didn't end in tears, the homework that actually got done, the laughter in the living room, the hugs that happen when no one's looking. And I realize that's what being an adult is. It's not knowing everything. It's not being perfect. It's being present. It's being courageous enough to say, I don't know, but let's find out together. Because one day, my kids will grow up and they'll realize what I've known for years. We were all making it up as we went along. We just laughed through it and we survived and we loved every chaotic, messy second of it. So adults are just kids with bigger shoes, and Marines are just adults with slightly better improv skills. And that's okay because life is short, chaos is constant, laughter is mandatory. And that wraps up this episode of Laughing Through Life with Donald. Three kids, three dogs, one wife, 12 years of marriage. One Marine trying to navigate civilian life. The mission: keep laughing. If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow, share it with someone who needs a laugh, and come back for the next episode, where we'll continue exploring the beautiful chaos of life, love, and parenthood. Remember, adults don't know everything. We're just better at pretending. And sometimes pretending is exactly what our kids need. Until next time, stay laughing, stay loving, and stay present.